Alright guys, this is Tim at Newcraft Workshop, and we've seen these all over the internet, so I took some scrap plywood today and I made myself one. We're going to zip through this video really quick. I'm going to show you all the steps, but I'm just going to talk and show you what I did out in my shop today, so let's get to it. What's going on, guys? So I'm going to build one of these little desktop phone stands, pencil holders that we're seeing a lot all over the internet, and I'm going to give it my little Newcraft spin, and I'm going to actually make this out of some spare scraps laying around of some Baltic Birch from when I built my workbench. I'm just going to start by getting everything measured out. I want to measure out for my base for my piece that the phone is actually going to rest on, as well as I'm going to need 4 pieces that are going to make up the box. We're going to just cut everything to width on the table saw. I'm going to use my new Going Make miter saw gauge. If you guys haven't watched the review on that, you really should pick one of these up. They are absolutely spot on and worth every penny of the money. But as you can see, I just decided I'm going to trim off this edge a little more clean than it was, because it was a little rough up against my fence. And then we're going to cut all of our pieces to final width, and once everything is done here at the table saw and we get everything squared up and proper sized, we're going to head over to the router table. And I don't show you guys the router table all that often here, but I'm going to take a round over bit and we're going to hit both sides of our base, and we are going to hit both sides of the piece where the phone is actually going to rest on. And by rounding over this Baltic Birch, you can see there, not only does it give it a really nice shape, but it exposes all of those layers. And if you're not familiar with Baltic Birch, 3/4 Baltic Birch has 13 layers, which is going to look extremely nice once we get this thing put together. And I'm going to put some clear on this, even though you're going to see a little bit, there is a little mistake. My Forstner bit got away from me on one of the holes I was drilling, but we're going to clean that up and put some clear poly on this, and it's going to accentuate those lines in there. So back over to the table saw, we need to get our box cut. We are going to rotate our blade over to 45 degrees, and once this thing is at 45 solid, right on the money, we're going to then be able to rip our 4 pieces that are going to make up our pencil box. Now I'm going to cut them a little oversized to start with, and yeah, I don't know if you noticed that or not, but we need to make sure this gauge is away from our blade since we rotated it 45 degrees. We definitely don't want to be cutting into our brand new miter gauge, but basically I'm going to cut these a little oversized, and then I'm going to adjust my stop here on the gauge, and then I'm going to run all 4 pieces through here at final dimension. These 4 are going to come together, and those are going to make our box. Now I only rounded over the top of our box, and you'll see here in just a second how when we put this together and our 4 corners come together and the miter joints are nice and tight, it's going to form this top of the box is going to look really nice with the rounded over corners carrying around all 4 sides of this box. We're just trying to keep that rounded feel throughout this whole thing here. So time for glue up. We're going to glue up our box, and once I get all 4 sides put together, we're just going to hold this in place with some blue painter's tape. It's one of the easiest ways to hold together something like this where you've got 4 mitered corners. And we're just going to run some blue painter's tape. That's going to hold it. I'm going to let that set up for about an hour before I get on to the next step. I do a lot of stuff in this build off camera. So once our box is glued up, we can move over and start working on our base, and you can kind of see how this is going to come together. We're going to use a dowel. I want to keep that rounded feel going throughout the whole project. We've rounded over all of our corners. We're going to use round dowels as our stand for our phone holder, and we are going to use 2 round dowels for the base that is actually going to keep our phone from sliding off. So we're just going to measure and mark this. 2 locations. We're going to drill this with a Forstner bit, and once I drill these holes, you're going to see my bit gets away from me a little bit and chews up, unfortunately, the left side I decided I needed to go a little bit deeper, and when I did that, you'll see here shortly. Yeah, there it is. There it was. I had some blowout on the top layer of my plywood. Highly disappointed, but we can fix that. We're just going to glue our post in place. The main thing we want to do is make sure that it is nice and straight. And we're just going to put one brad in there to hold it in place while the glue sets up. And now we can drill our hole in our base. That's where our phone stand is actually going to get glued in and rest. And we're not even going to bother tacking this in place because it is going to be more than adequate once the glue dries up. And I don't know if you noticed the thumbs down I just gave. It's because I glued everything in place already, and check it out. The pencil line is still there. So I let my glue set up and I sanded that pencil line off. And again, you can see the blowout on that plywood. Totally my fault. Baltic Birch is absolutely the best plywood you can buy, and I messed up. So here it is, man. This is it. This is going to look great on my desk, and I made this completely from scrap plywood. The entire build process on this thing was like 35 minutes. I sped this up 6 minutes for you guys, but yeah, that's it. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this really quick build, and I will get back with you guys on Wednesday with the next build in our holiday project series. I got 3 or 4 more items for you guys on Wednesday, but yeah, I appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with me here today, watching me build something that I'm actually going to use myself this time. So as always, I'll catch you guys on YouTube.